Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special series of podcast episodes from Experience Kills. This is Mass Reflect Part 1, a dissection of Mass Effect. And joining me today, I have a diverse group of individuals coming to this franchise from entirely different perspectives, which I'm really excited to sort of bring us all together, this melting pot, very, very in keeping with the Mass Effect universe, multicultural, multiple points of views. It's going to be exciting. So first of all, let me introduce the Asari matriarch of the group. This woman knows Mass Effect better than she knows, well, anyone or anything else. I've never known a fan of anything as fervent as her, and it's Leah. Welcome.
Hello.
Are you excited to be a part of this?
Yes. Oh my god, yes. I've got my cushion. I've got my Garrus. And I've got my cat, who is named Charlie.
Perfect. What more could you need? That's incredible. Yeah. We also have with us today, we have Commander of the Elcor detachment. We have Rob, who's coming to it from an interesting perspective here. He's coming to the perspective of someone that's played Mass Effect 2 and 3, but never played Mass Effect 1 before. So in that respect, in this episode, he's as green as can be. So welcome, Commander of the Elcor detachment, Rob.
Hello. Why Elcor?
Why not? I have a matrix, and I chose Elcor for you.
Okay.
It's probably better, though, than being the ambassador to the Citadel for the Volus, which is Cameron. I mean, who wants to be a Volus? Cameron's the Volus because he's the newest to the group. He's the newest to the Citadel and probably the least important. At least the Hanar are cool. But Cameron is here to bring the greenest of green perspectives. Here is a man who has never played a single Mass Effect game, doesn't really know anything about Mass Effect going in, and is now coming to it with fresh eyes with the Legendary Edition on PS4. So how you doing?
And I have to thank you for my copy. You were true to your word. Kept bringing it up for months and months. You're like, I'm gonna get it to you. I'm gonna get a copy. All right, damn it, we're gonna get a copy, and I got one. So thank you.
It was many years ago I discovered that you'd never played Mass Effect, much to my shock and horror. And ever since then I said, if they ever do a re-release, if they ever did this, I would get you a copy. And I did. You know, it's true. I'm that guy. So I had to do it because I wanted to talk to you. I wanted that perspective because it blows my mind that in 2021 there's someone that never played Mass Effect. So I can't wait to get into this. The basic format is we're going to talk about, we're going to dissect the game in its entirety, the choices we've made, all of the kind of character moments, our favourite moments, the things we didn't like, the things we loved. And we're also going to talk about the big improvements that are especially visible in Mass Effect 1 in the Legendary Edition compared to the original 360 and PS3 release from, well, a million years ago now, basically. 2007 this game came out. So Rob, I want to go to Rob first because he feels like, I think he feels I've done the dirty to go with Elcor. And it wasn't like that.
Yeah,
I think the Elcor are cool. I want to
see that Matrix.
The Elcor are cool. I think they actually are really cool in this because they don't look like they've got mashed potato faces anymore. They actually have proper facial features. So they stood out to me as awesome, improved areas of the game. So that's why I went with you for Elcor.
He says, quickly trying to gain ground
It's
back.
genuine.
And I had a really good time. I ended up making a few mistakes after the fact. Because obviously to get all this done, I had never played Mass Effect 1 at all. I played 20 minutes. I hadn't even finished the first mission when I played years and years and years ago when I first got an Xbox 360. I saw the cover, it looked cool, I bought it. I played 20 minutes and I chucked it on the pile never to play again. Because I just didn't get on with it, because at that time I was an idiot. Happily to own up to that one. I had a really, really good time. I had a very good time. But I finished the game in like less than 9 hours. So
yes, he somehow... Yeah. Rob did a speed run of Mass Effect 1 without realising he was doing a speed run of Mass Effect 1.
Yeah. I know why, but at the same time, I don't know why. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Very little was put in my way. I was given 3 points of interest after a couple of missions that you kind of railroaded down. I was given 3 points of interest. I went and resolved the 3 points of interest. I was given more points of interest. And then end.
And it actually kind of comes like quite quickly after you go back to the Citadel after Vermeer, and you get off the Citadel. It's then all of a sudden endgame basically from that point onwards, and it goes very rapid. Like I literally did that today. I finished the game today. Obviously, I did a full completion run of this. Did every side mission I could, every quest, maximum level, all high gear, that kind of thing. But at the same time, I think it's really interesting your point of view because, obviously this feedback was taken on board by BioWare, and therefore the design of 2 reflects the fact that people kind of did what you must have done accidentally at the time as well. So I think that's not on you. That's a design error, isn't it? That's just exactly. Not knowing how that game has been made. Why should you?
Yeah, and comparison, I'm most of the way now, I'm probably about halfway through Mass Effect 2, which we'll talk about on our subsequent show, but I've already spent about triple the playtime just in Mass Effect 2. So I think that was something they definitely saw and took on board, because there was never anything directly telling you, go and look at those planets over there that are unmarked and empty. It's like, yeah, you could explore, 100%, but there's nothing that directly instructs you for side stuff, go that way. So I was just following up with the missions that were put in front of me. The game is balanced exceedingly well, so I never felt pushed or pressured for combat or anything like that.
Did you not explore the Citadel though? Did you not talk to anyone?
I did a bit. I think I got like a couple of extra assignments. I think one guy wanted me to like pick up drinks or something at a bar, but that didn't really interest me hugely. There were a couple of them that didn't. I tried to track down a few of the keepers, the weird like arachnidy things on the Citadel, so I was scanning those whenever I saw them, but I didn't spend a huge amount of time exploring the Citadel.
I mean, I had a very similar kind of experience as well, because I wanted to speed run through the story so I knew what the hell was going on. And of course I made a save point like just before the final, after the final mission, so that I can come back to it and then I can explore more and I can do a lot of the side missions. That was like my 3 days done right there. But at the same time, it is kind of, I don't want to say difficult, but there's no like a lot of games have like an overhead like beacon that just says like, I have a side mission for you, or anything like that. It is, you have to go around and talk to absolutely everybody and see if they say, bugger off, I'm busy, ambassador, or hey, you want to make some money? It's a bit of a pain to find the right way to start a mission. Some of them are really easy, like as soon as you go to the galaxy map, you'll have like the admiral of the fleet go, hey, check it out, there's some beacon going over here saying that someone's dead. But the thing is that then you have to find where the bloody planet that is as well. It's difficult to kind of find a way as well. But at the same time, though, I spend a lot of time with surveying and then exploring some of those new planets anyway.
I think it's really interesting because obviously by today's standards of game design, this is somewhat archaic, isn't it? Mass Effect 1 in a few ways we can get into. But like, yeah, the thing for me that stood out, even though I'm very familiar with this game after playing it many times, it's the fact that I can't click on an assignment and it'll put a waypoint down for me somewhere on a map. Oh, God. It's like you have to just read it. It goes, go to the Articus Row cluster, then the Hammer system, and then in the Hammer system you need to land on the planet called Flurgelberg. And you're like, right, I guess I'm just remembering that then. And honestly, that's not a big ask, is it? It's not a big ask to remember that, especially if you're looking at your journal in front of the galaxy map, which is what I would often do. And it was like, that's not a big ask, but as a modern day gamer, I guess we've just all got a bit lazy in that regard. Like,
we've got used to the GPS arrow floating in midair in front of us.
Yeah, and it's like the dotted line to follow. And Mass Effect is not that. The first one is kind of, while it has ARPG trappings, it's very combat focused, it's got CRPG elements as well. And by that I mean computer role-playing game. So it has that non-handholdy sort of idea that, there's as much here as you want to be here, right? So when you're given that galaxy map, with loads of like the different systems, and they're just lit up, just like, you can go there. There's no names or anything to them until you hover over them. It's not saying you have to do any of it, but if you go to any of them, whenever you usually go to one, you'll get the Admiral on the blower going, there's a mission here. So if you want that side mission experience, that's definitely there. So Rob, what I'm curious is, obviously you didn't do that. You didn't end the game at a particularly low level though. So you obviously, like you said, it's balanced well, regardless of if you hit the side content or not. So I think that's really interesting. Maybe that's been tweaked for this re-release, potentially.
Possibly.
I remember it being a much harder to get the leveling originally. So I think maybe that's been tweaked. Yeah, but that's good though.
Yeah, I never felt in trouble or anything like that. It was just balanced very well. So I highly enjoyed it. And the thing is, I don't feel that my experience is lessened for not having seen the side stuff, partly because I've no idea what the side stuff contains, and partly because I had a really good time. I really enjoyed it. I was, 4/5 of the way up the Paragon scale, because I went the Goody Two-Shoes route. I didn't feel that I was missing out opportunities because it flowed remarkably well. The story was brilliant.
Okay, yeah, talk about it. Tell me about the story. Which favourite moments from the story? What did you emotionally resonate with you and stuff? What did you connect with?
I struggle with stories. I don't tend to emotionally resonate with stories at all. I think the most standout holy shit moment for me was at the end, where I managed to Paragon my way into the final boss shooting himself in the face.
So cool.
I was expecting like Goody Two-Shoes rhetoric, not that.
So cool.
That took me by surprise. Hugely.
I did the same, but the opposite way. So I wasn't going Paragon. I was going Renegade, and instead of you going, there's always another chance, I was just basically going, do it, pussy. He did the same thing.
Brilliant. I love it. I've never done that bit, Renegade. So I imagine it's really like you're just goading him, are you? And just be like, well, come on then. If you're tough enough, prove it.
It's more along the lines of like, obviously one saying like, being the Paragon, I think it's along the lines of like, don't be a slave. You can. It's not too late. You can redeem yourself. On the other hand, it's sort of like, don't be a slave to the Sovereign, you douche. You can't believe you caved into being a slave for the Sovereign. What the hell? And he's like, yeah, you're right.
So it's such a great moment. It's such a great moment that you basically skip an entire stage of the boss by doing that. Yeah, it's so cool that they had the guts, at BioWare to pull something off like that. Casey Hudson, as like the game director, was like, yeah, let's have it as conversation our way out of this fight. And I think there's quite a lot of the way the charisma and the dialogue options are such a big part of Mass Effect. It was the first game to do anything like that, and it's amazing.
It strikes me as very D&D. In D&D, you can charisma your way out of most things with a lucky dice roll. With this, the more you lean into a particular path, the more you can do. It's such a brilliant system.
Yeah, it's so cool, isn't it? It's really awesome. I've got to say...
So essentially, for that boss fight, you just rolled a natural 20 using charisma. Yeah. That's what you did.
I think nat-20'd my way through phase 1.
I think for me, one of the big moments of that game, I remember it blows me away every time. It certainly blew me away the first time. Was when you talk to Sovereign, and you find out what the Reapers are all about, and you're like, oh shit, these guys are serious. Like they are. There's not just one of them. They are legion, and they are coming, and it doesn't really matter what you do. They have wiped out countless previous civilizations. So the scope of the threat, the scope of the big bad, because you've been given hints at that point that Saren's having his strings pulled to a degree, but you don't realise. And then that coupled with the discussion you have with Virgil in the Prothean ruins on Ilos, and it's about when you really get to find out the history of the whole conflict and the connections between the Reapers and the Protheans. I just think Mass Effect 1 does such an incredible job of world building and setting out that universe that I just want to be in it. It's just they wanted to make a space operatic epic, and they did a remarkably good job of it straight up, BioWare, with that game, and it sets the foundation so well for that whole series. It's just incredible.
it gave me context. This is the thing. I'd heard Sovereign and I'd heard Saren before, but I had no idea what those names actually referred to and what they were for when they're mentioned in Mass Effect 2. You know, in my first playthrough when it came out, I was very much that, who the fuck are you? Kind of going round in that one because I had no context of these characters. But now, it's more informed because I've lived through that story and seen Sovereign and go, okay, it's not just a person, it's a genocidal robot that wants to kill everyone. Uh-oh. You know, so it's good having that.
How about you, Leah? What I mean, you've played this game many times. Is there a particular moment a particular moment that clicks with you every time and that just sticks in your head?
Yeah. So when Captain Kirihei is doing his hold the line speech,
it's good
in
speech.
tears every single time.
Good speech. Though I do find it a bit awkward when he's like, "Yeah, we fucked the Krogan, but we hold the line." It's like, oh yeah, you fucked the Krogan. They created and released the genophage, sterilizing an entire species. Solarians kind of suck.
Yeah. Rex just standing there going, excuse me?
Yeah. Well, so did you guys all talk Rex down?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you can lose him as a party member in that.
I lost him the first time, and I instantly reloaded it because I was not losing my bro.
Yep, that's why you roll multiple saves, Rob. Just FYI.
I was wanting to go down the route of what decisions I make are the decisions I make. I can't just get out of it through, as the term is, safe scumming.
Wow, hardcore. Hardcore. I like it. Yeah, no, it's true. It's safe scumming, true, no doubt.
I'm sorry, but the renegade that I was playing,
trapped in this room for
my crew was mainly Garrus,
Garrus
because he's my bro, he's got my back, and to be honest, he was doing all my hacking.
Why is this place crawling?
But Rex was just like, because I was going renegade, he was just ultimately just like, any time I did something badass, he was sort of just, he was like the approving big brother from the other side of the room, just going, yeah. Nice one.
Smart. You sprayed that guy's brain over the wall. Real nice. Good job.
Let me just say, when it for my kind of holy shit moment was in that mission, is when you had to make the choice between teammates.
I was gonna come back to this.
When I found out what happened to Rex, because I didn't shoot him, it made that decision very easy for me.
Oh shit! Okay, right. Tell us about it. What happened? What happened in this situation? Yeah, what happened?
So, as it turns out, I mean, should I shout spoiler warning?
No. This is spoilers. Come on.
So, as it turns out, Ashley is a humongous racist against most aliens.
Space racist.
Spacist.
Spacist.
Spacist. And basically, yeah, if you don't do it like the right way to talk him down, she will just in the back of the head for you. And I must have hit the wrong button at something, and so she takes care of Rex for you. And I was sat there going,
I didn't know that was what happened.
Oh yes, it's one of the many routes, and so that's why I actually really like, because I've played quite a few BioWare games, and there's conversation heavy at all times. This is one of the first ones I've really played that feel like it has a huge impact.
Yeah.
And now from what my friends told me as well, because you can carry a save file over, it will have impacts that reverberate across 3 goddamn games.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now I feel even worse for never playing this series before.
Well, put it this way, like Telltale, right? That their entire business model of Jim will remember that wouldn't exist without Mass Effect first.
I wonder.
Like this is the
Rex
ones
will remember that.
Yeah, Rex will that bullet to the back of the head. He won't remember it, but he would if he was alive. So who did we choose this time? I made a choice I've never made before at this point because I wanted because I'd never seen this character's storyline through to the 3 games. So I made a different choice. So what did you guys make? Who did you save?
I've been looking for 13 years.
Caden.
Go away.
I saved Ashley.
Certain reasons.
So I saved Ashley this time. I've always saved Caden. Always save Caden. And I feel like I'm curious. I've never looked into it. I've never like looked up videos. I'm wondering if there's a redemption arc for her. I wonder if she becomes less of a spacist as time goes on through the games. Like, because I've tried to teach her the way of things. You know, when I've been talking to her, she didn't want to romance me, by the way, because I killed that stone dead early on because I was just like, nah, bitch, you cannot be talking about people like that. Like, so I saved her, but I was like, no, I'm putting her in a zone here hard. Like, you are not getting anywhere with me because you are a spacist. You need to stop that. You need to stop it. Stop it. Right? So but I want to keep her going because I want to see what happens with her in the subsequent 2 games because I've just never done it. I've never done it before because this is the thing, right? I've tried to play these games as a renegade a few times and I never get very far. I always say, this time I'm going to go through and be the badass and be a psycho and an arsehole. And I can't do it. I always become the Paragon hero because it just feels so wrong not to in these games.
See, the thing I did was like I kind of based my character on like as if like it's like a Han Solo-esque character, you know? He's a lovable rogue. He will do the right thing in the end, but in a badass way, you know? So I chose renegade options, but when the chips were down, sort of thing. You know, I'll do the right thing, even, I mean, what do they call that, chaotic good, sort of thing?
Yeah, neutral, is that... I don't know, something chaotic neutral?
I'll do the right thing, but I'll definitely do it the wrong way. You know? Like, if it means saving people, yeah sure, I'll kill everybody to save everybody.
Yeah, chaotic good.
Yeah, chaotic good, so that's the kind of role I was going for. I was very surprised, because most of my experience through BioWare games is pretty much Knights of the Old Republic and Part 2, you know?
Yeah.
And in that, there's a very clear dial of whether or not you're going evil or if you're going light side. So I was very confused when playing this, because you can earn both Paragon and Renegade points. And I was freaking out trying to be like full badass, basically. But then like a complete a mission, it gave me like 20 Paragon points. I was like, no! I'm trying to be badass. Stop it.
So the only time I slip, I find from the righteous path is on Novaria with those corporation assholes, and I just want to smash all their faces through windows and I want to kill all of them, and I kind of that's when I find myself picking up some renegade points is on Novaria. Like I just can't be nice to them. They're such dicks on that planet.
Which one's Novaria? Is that the snowy?
Yeah.
Mountain planet.
Yeah, the snowy one.
Yeah, with the Rachni. Yeah. So did you guys save the Queen?
Yes, indeed.
Saved.
I did.
Save. All saved. Good.
Again, I was one of those. It's one of those like renegade. Yeah, but I'm a renegade, but I'm not willing to wipe out an entire species.
The commander
that's the kind of yeah, it's a bit too harsh. You know, they learned their lesson when we brought around Rex and his buddies.
I'm hoping that now I see a Rachni fleet in Mass Effect 3. That's what I'm hoping will happen, because obviously it came down as a choice when I imported my character into ME2.
I say
Rachni couldn't saved.
I will say, you know, we said spoiler free, but at the same time, try not to spoil Cam on the sequels yet. That's all I can
bro.
Let's try and get through.
There's to do with a fleet.
There are things that happen.
There may be a queen, there may not be a queen.
Shit gets
I
real.
don't know. This is the thing. I don't know if it comes back. So I don't recall it being in 2, but fuck knows for 3. So
I tell you,
that's it's gonna be so cool. I mean, like there are some like major decisions that you make there. You know, I'm assuming that if you import my save over, if I'd left it there with Rex dying, I wouldn't have Rex for the entirety of 2 and 3.
Nope.
That really makes me wonder, and I want to ask the question: who then is Erdnot, or takes the place of Erdnot Rex? On
there is someone.
Tachanka.
There is someone, but I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. There is someone though, yeah.
No, I've never played that way.
Yeah, there is another
why
character.
Would you? It's Rex.
Can't be Rex if he takes a bullet from Ashley.
Yeah,
from the spacist.
I would wonder who that would be, because I've only ever known Rex in that position. So it's amazing to see how like long term those ramifications go for those choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's huge.
What another moment for me that gets me is after the big. I really love when you return to the Citadel and you're walking up the outside of the council spire. Such a cool fucking moment. What a cool idea that was, to fight up along the side of that, gravity flipped, and you're going up the side. A huge battle, just Geth on top, like so many Geth. And then you know, you go through the fight, you beat Sarah, and you do that, destroy so, and then the wreckage hits, and all of this culminates. And even though you know, well, obviously I can't be dead, right? My character. Then that's not how. I was like, when I came out of that wreckage and I was still up there, I fucking cheered, guys. I literally cheered out loud. I was like, yeah, come on! Like, I was, even though it gets me, and I've done it 20 times, and it still gets me. That's how well directed this game is, how well directed the cutscenes are. And they are, like, I think that's something people forget about Mass Effect. The cutscenes in this game are incredibly well produced. And obviously, they've done some really lovely work, re-rendering them, using all the enhancements in them as well, because that's one of the things you find sometimes with remastered is that cutscenes don't get the work done on them, but they've done the work, and they are fantastic in this edition. And I just everything about them is just, I was just so wrapped up in that moment. I was like cheering, mate. I was cheering. It's so good.
Thing is, for me, that ran completely hollow because I knew the result of that. There was no risk or danger there.
Yeah, but I just think it's directed so well that I was just totally swept up in the moment.
I mean, I'm the same. Even I know that, you know, you're going to have Shepard in 2 and 3 because he's the main character, or she's the main character at least. But you know, I can see it from like the first time I've been playing. You know, if I played it back in 2007, that would have been like a huge holy like, yes, my son, get in moment.
That question mark of holy shit, what?
Yeah. The following scene. I mean, well, actually, no. I say the following scene because this is the part that my friend kind of. I was talking to my friend as I was playing on the voice chat and everything there, and I sort of sat there going like, "Wait, save the council or no?" And then my friend was just like, "So what did you choose?" And I just went, "I got to take out Sovereign for the greater good." And my friend sort of just went, and I was like, what did I do? What did I do? He's like, your choice, my man. I'm just like,
you'll have to find out.
For those that are only listening, Cameron is pulling a lot of very strange faces right now.
Lots of panic.
I was in such a panic. I didn't know. I was like, have I just screwed up like the next 2 games for me? What's gone wrong here? You know? Oh man, but
I'm really interested to find out from you what happens now for the next 2.
It's not.
Have you done save the council before or take down?
I've done both. Yeah, I've done both.
I've only ever done one playthrough of 2 and 3, and I played it like the Paragon way, and that was never a choice that I could make. So
didn't you have that weird comic thing you could do at the beginning of 2 to like fill in the choices if you hadn't played 1?
I think so, yeah. And I made random arbitrary crap choices because I had no context.
Yeah, I mean that's why that was always weird. That thing. Yeah.
You probably would have made like good choices then, I guess, out of those comic strips. I guess
that would be my guess. I was like, yeah, I saved everyone. It's fine. Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. So
we've talked about some moments here and some reminiscing about this a little bit, and we'll come back to that. But I want to go to Leah now for a little bit. So obviously Leah has played the 360 version of Mass Effect many times, lots of times.
Oh yes.
So talk to me about the enhancements. Talk to me about what we've got here with the Legendary Edition. What has stood out to you as improvements and changes that they've made? I mean, it's incredible, I think. But yeah, just tell us a bit more about specifics.
I mean, it just looks so much good. When you go onto random planets, there is now texture and grass and snow. Whereas before, it was just kind of like, it all kind of looked like various shades of a different barren asteroid. Like there was a red one or a blue one or a grey one or a white one. It's just, there's actually different things now. And your Mako has a boost, which is very helpful. And it's less floaty. Definitely less floaty. What else is there? There's kind of...
You say less floaty. You say less floaty, but that car defies physics, okay? Like, yes. I have flipped that thing once in the entire game, only because I ran headfirst into a wall with it and it just flipped onto its back. Other times I've gone head over tail over a mountaintop and it just landed like on its nose and then just went and just carried on.
It took me 2 worlds to figure out it had a cannon.
Oh, Rob.
I pulled the trigger and it fired the machine gun. So I thought, okay, it's just a massive Gatling gun mounted on the front. All right, that's fine. I can get with that. That's no problem.
I don't think at any point they tutorialize the Mako's controls and capabilities. They don't. There's not even a control list in the game to tell you what buttons do what on the Mako. So it's just like, try stuff. It's just like, okay.
It's so much better though, because before it was literally, it was so bouncy, it was unbelievable. It was just
because you'd go to try and drive up the side of a mountain, right? And the front wheels would bounce up, and then you'd kind of just come off the mountain repeatedly, and you just keep coming off the mountain because it would just bounce you off. So you could never actually drive over anything consistently. It was a nightmare. So they've actually vastly improved it, but still kept a lot of its charm. A lot of its charm.
A little bit of bouncy.
I love it. Now with the boost, I'm like fucking flying out of the crest. I'm like doing mad tricks. It's like Tony Hawk crossed with Mass Effect. It's amazing. Absolutely had a ball driving around.
It's like they sorted the controls and didn't make her the same mistake twice.
I felt like Rex getting shot at the back of the head. Then sorry.
I'm enjoying Ben's analogy here. You know, Tony Shepard, Mako Skater 3.
That's it.
I'm enjoying that.
That's it. What about the combat? Leon?
I liked the combat. It was much improved. I liked that I could use as an infiltrator, as I always am. I liked that I could use all the weapons. That was cool. Obviously, not going to be able to do that going forward, but that's fine. On the Mako, previously, when I played it the first time, it was kind of like bounce shoot, whereas it's a little bit more easy to control now. Although you still like to bounce out of the way of
Classically, originally, you'd zoom down, you'd target, pull left trigger with the Mako, you'd fire your cannon, and it would impact like about half a meter or so underneath the reticle. It would never actually fire where you aim. So they've made some really good improvements because it now fires where you aim it.
What you used to have to do is aim, then jump, fire, and then go down, and then it would hit.
Brilliant. Totally user-friendly. Don't know what you're talking about. Dude,
I don't know.
In the Mass Effect universe, they clearly had like drivers of the Mako. It was a whole separate like branch of the armed forces. Right, Mako school. You got to jump and then wait and then fire and then it will line up. Okay.
Suddenly, I'm glad BioWare never made a Need for Speed game.
I bet the story would have been good though. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
Better than the movie. Right. So what about the? So you mentioned you're an infi. So let's broaden out classes. Everyone. Who are we playing as? What class?
So I.
Let's talk about Rob and customization.
Yeah, Rob doesn't really do customization. I just don't enjoy it. It's just not a thing that I take any satisfaction from. There's a pre-generated character, I will run with them. I'm completely happy and comfortable doing that. Zero issue. I did not realise that class choice was part of the character creation. So I went in, I thought, okay, it's listed me as soldier. This is the first game. I'm sure they're introducing biotics to you. Maybe it's a thing that happens because of the technology. I don't know. I've never played this before. The only comparison point I have is ME2, where it lets you choose after a certain thing has happened, which I'm not going to tell Cam because... You choose from a drop-down. So I thought, maybe I get to a specific point and then it lets me train in a specialisation or something like that. Soldier is really generic. Okay, that's fine. That's what I'll run with. That must be what they do in this.
Did you not read the rest of them? They have little descriptions.
I cannot recall. I probably just saw the like the role, the trait, or the equivalents of like the origins or the whatever they say, and then the class. And I tried going back, and there wasn't a class option that I'd missed. So I thought, oh, that's fine. I'll just carry on. It must be a later choice. So I was a soldier for the entire game.
Cam? You're muted. Oh, he's muted. He's muted. Cam. Yeah.
So my partner's taking my son to bed, so I don't want to yell through the door at you. No, I was the same. I thought I might be able to pick up some kind of power-ups later on in the game, some sort of tech that I might be able to have on the arm or whatever it is to blast at people. But no, so I started off as a soldier. However, I don't know whether or not it was in the base game or if it was a DLC. My friends seem to think it was a part of a DLC, but I got a specialization class as a commando as well.
It's a story point you get that, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
It was a mission that was given to you, and I think it's given to you at least anyway. But it's on Earth's moon. It's an Alliance training mission.
Ah, it's that one. Yeah, Rob didn't do that. Rob didn't get to specialize his class.
But yeah, I didn't. My friends didn't think it was a DLC from back in the old days.
No,
but
the lunar mission is in the main game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
It's a good mission.
I ended up killing everybody. It was great.
Yeah, it's
What
cool.
did
It's
you
cool.
get as a commando for like specializing your soldier class?
It's buffs. It's buffs. So it's like extra
Yeah.
weapon buffs, specific buffs, or defense buffs. Attack buffs, things like that. Yeah. So it's just another. It's another subclass you can put points into.
I think it's
Yeah.
commando or operative. I want to say something like that.
There's a few different ones. Yeah, you get the choice of commando or operative for soldiers. Oh goodness me, a shock trooper. I think it is for soldiers.
Okay.
Because the operative, you can be an operative or a commander if you're an infiltrator,
Mm.
which probably would have been one of your choices.
I
But
can't remember
it was
what
good
mine were
because,
for Vanguard, but yeah, I picked the one that dealt damage. That's usually the way I go.
That's essentially what the Commander Specialist did. It increased in all weapon damages, improved immunity and marksman and assassination abilities for sniper rifles and everything, which was awesome. You say you were a Vanguard,
I'm a Vanguard, baby. Shotgun.
so yours was Nemesis or Shock Trooper. Would be your choices.
Yeah, so I play as Vanguard because I love the biotic charge. Only did I remember later on that there's no biotic charge in Mass Effect 1. So I'm a Vanguard that deals really good damage up close. I just have to hold on. I'm jogging over. Just give me hold.
Stay there.
Wait,
I'll
I'm
be there
coming.
in a minute.
Just hold. Oh, Gareth killed him with the sniper rifle.
That being said, I managed in late game. I mean, I had a shotgun with some great upgrades on it, and I didn't have a single point in the shotgun tree because I went full assault rifle and sniper, and it wrecked, and I had no points in the shotgun anyway.
So I had level 10 Spectre all the Spectre weapons, so pistol, assault rifle, shotgun, and sniper rifle at the end game. So when I'm charging up the side of the spire, I wasn't using any cover at that point. Like that's the thing. That's the weird thing about this. So the game is a bit strange because it has cover, right? So let's talk about this briefly. But it doesn't have snap to cover. It has auto cover when you like nudge up against a wall, which seems to work about half the time.
Yeah.
Not only
Inconsistent,
that,
shall we say?
not only that, but I didn't crouch for that entire game.
No, and it does give you a big old accuracy buff if you crouch. Like you are way more accurate. But
It does?
yeah, so
I did crouch, but
Never
mostly because I was
noticed.
trying to sprint.
Yes.
So
Actually, I tell her
something Rob and Cameron don't realise is until this version of the game, you couldn't sprint outside of combat.
Really?
Right? So if you didn't have your gun out, you couldn't sprint like at all until they put that in, which is why it looks really freaking weird when
Not
he
even
sprints
like a
with
light
it.
jog.
He has this like high knee jog, which is this he's got this strangest Shepard's got the strangest jog run I have seen in any when he's not got a gun out, because it was designed for the gun out so it didn't look as weird, right? So when he's got the gun away, it just looks hilarious. He looks like Benny Hill just jogging around the Citadel. It's such a strange look. And the worst thing is you don't have the fatigue bar when you have the gun away, so you just out of breath literally
you
after
sort of
2
sprint for like
seconds.
4 seconds.
Yeah.
And go, don't know yet. This should be a hardened war soldier here. You can't sprint for more than 4 seconds.
He's got a lot of armor on. That's my headcanon. It's that armor ain't light. So it's like, it's a tiring endeavor.
I'll have you know that it is light if you're wearing light armor.
True. As well, you soldiers were probably all in heavy by the end of the game, but yeah, my Vanguard only goes up to medium. And I think the infiltrator is the same, medium. But even then, yeah, the game has got a bit of a old interesting difficulty spike because it starts quite hard. Like you are a glass cannon situation. Like every time you get into combat, you can take like 3 shots and you're dead. I had a bunch of game overs fairly early on, and then all of a sudden you kind of crest the hill and it's just hey, who needs cover? Not this guy. And I'm just literally running at every Geth or flipping Thorian or whatever is coming at me, just shotgun, one hit, one hit. They're all just dying everywhere. Did we all play it on normal? I get the impression we might have all played it on.
Yeah. But the aiming is so much better now in this Legendary Edition because when you used to use the sniper rifle in the first one, it was just constantly in the breeze all the time, just a little breeze.
Yeah, but look, the best bit was when you tried to use a sniper rifle. Sorry, what's that?
I relied on that sniper rifle. I had one that was one-shotting stuff.
Nice.
It's how I got through most of the Geth. Just like, oh, dead. There we go. On with the rest.
Did you have I didn't quite grasp figuring out how the rate of fire on some of these weapons. You know, like it had the heat gauge and everything, and I was just like, can't you just tell me how many shots it'll take before I have to cover and cool down?
I loved that so much.
It depends on what sniper you had though, because I had a pretty heavy sniper rifle, but was more semi-auto. So one shot and it was dead, fine, but it was just bang, 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 bang. But then you'd have one that just sounds like an anti-material rifle, full on. Your shoulder's gone if you stand up firing it. Yeah. Those were beauty shots.
Yeah, so that mechanic, right? So the overheat mechanic instead of a reload mechanic only exists in this first game. It's a curious one. It becomes an ammo reload mechanic in 2 and 3.
I've missed it already.
So I'm sorry to spoil that bit for you, Cam. But I think the problem there is that people got freaked out by it. Like Cam was saying, they found it very confusing that it wasn't a conventional shooter mechanic. So they ended up bringing that into the subsequent games. And what I've also was reading, I don't know if you noticed this already, Rob. We won't talk about too much, but this is a small esoteric thing. They've added in the Legendary Edition a lot more ammo, pickups.
I was going to say, I was just about to say to Cameron, don't worry, you're never going to struggle for ammo.
Yeah, they've doubled.
They've fine.
It's a quite a large magnitude more pickups now than the original. One of the things they did tweak about Mass Effect 2, weirdly. But yeah, in combat in general, I always remember when I was playing as Vanguard, right? Because that's my main class, as it were. If I tried to use a sniper originally in Mass Effect 1, you had a reticle that filled half the screen. Because you have to have
weird specializations into guns, didn't you?
Yeah. So they gave you the gun, but you couldn't use it in a million years. And even if you had a headshot lined up, it was still a 50-50 chance that you would even hit the guy. Yeah. So you just didn't bother, so you'd have, my guy would have had, for example, a level 1 sniper, because I just never replace it. What would be the point of giving him a better gun? I just give them to the squad mates that can use them.
No, I stuck with it. Always used it.
You do love your info. You do love your snipers. Yeah. So famously, Leah is known. She actually has a bit of a reputation for dick shots. She likes to blow the nads off her enemies with sniper rifles at 200 meters. That's Leah's whole thing. Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe it's is it an underlying psychological thing you want to do to your husband? Maybe.
Identification confirmed.
No, it's going to sound really mundane, but it's because generally, in real life, I walk kind of looking downwards so I don't fall over, and I do the same in games. So only a little bit up, dick shot.
Sounded to me a bit like you said you walk around in life looking at people's crotches.
Dicks.
But that's
She saw her whole unit die.
kind of what that sounded like.
I don't fall over.
Oh, okay. Cool. We'll go with that. Yeah.
I think it's more preferable than her wanting to shoot everyone in the dick. So.
Protecting the
Or her husband.
I'm staying out.
For her husband, yes.
Yeah.
I'm staying out of Cambridge. That's for sure. I'm gonna
Keep
stay
away.
down.
Keep
I'm
away.
staying down south.
That's good. We don't live in Cambridge, so good. Stay out of Cambridge. Anyway.
Whereas I'm about 10 minutes from you, so I'm a little worried. Anyway.
You guys, I feel like, Leah, you've not said a huge amount. So, like, anything else you wanted to throw out? Any other things you want to talk about, story or gameplay or anything in general? Or...
Just the gameplay is so much better. I mean, I used to struggle, obviously, in the early part of the game with the sniper rifle, especially because you never float in the breeze. But I just love the game so much. I love going and finding every little bit of everything that I can find, because I know that there are like random bits that you can find in other games because of it. It's just brilliant. I will literally go and talk to everyone everywhere and go and visit everything just to make sure I've done it. It's amazing. And then I guess another favourite scene is the bit where Joker takes the Normandy up in the Citadel and does like the spirally loop and then goes down onto Sovereign. Love it.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it's just that it's like he, it's like, yeah, it looks like he's dying, but yeah, I'm gonna put a shot right through his heart just to make sure.
Yeah.
I'll touch on Joker. What Seth Green? I had no idea was in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I will tell you, if you like Seth Green, he gets a lot more to do in the subsequent ones. Like, because
Brilliant.
I kept going and talking to him, thinking there'd be more dialogue, because that's what I remember in the later games. But it's like he just kind of say something like, "Yeah, fuck my life." Usually, he's quite miserable in this one, and then it'd be like, "Oh, okay, all right, cheers, jokes, have a good one, bud."
Cheers, Jokey.
And I'd go off, and I'd like, you never had anything to say. But there's loads more in 2 and 3, loads more.
I need to spend
Can't
more
wait.
time talking to Joker in 2. I haven't talked to him much, so I need to spend more time chatting to him.
There's one thing that I'm going to be honest, that I barely even touched the powers that you get as a soldier. You know, stuff like
Didn't use them once.
no, I didn't feel the need. I barely even touched my med fluids. You know, I don't know whether I just had it on normal and like that's just the difficulty and it was fine. But the rooms and everything were cleared out before I took any major damage. I mean, it's not as if I was crouching either. But like, yeah, you know, you look at the power wheel sort of thing. It's like the only times like the powers were used, I let the NPCs do what they wanted to do, you know. But they got Alaria was just awesome because the specters are now my most hated enemies in that thing because of how fast they jump between walls. I couldn't land a shot on them.
Are they called spectres?
No, sorry, not spectres. Oh goodness me.
I know the ones you mean, the jumpy Geth.
Yeah, Jumpy Geth. Let's call him Jumpy Geth.
Jumpy Geth.
I was
Yeah.
a spectre. I just mixed the two up. Sorry.
Sappers.
Sappers?
Really?
They're definitely sappers, and there were sniper ones as well.
Sappers.
It's definitely basically essentially when Saren turns into one at the end,
Yeah, he does.
you know, and I could barely land a shot unless I had someone biotically stasising it or lifting it so he just floats through the air and then just pop shot it from the ground. That's the only way I could kill those things.
They
And it
go back
really
to the
happened.
same place.
Barely.
That's how I do
keep
it.
up.
They go back to the
just
same
sit there
place,
and
so I
wait.
just
Look at that
train.
and wait.
Yep.
Wait for you to jump back into the reticle. Smart. I
Potentially,
didn't
they're
notice that.
called. I think they're called Geth Hoppers,
No, that doesn't sound
according
right
to the
either.
MassEffect.fandom.com.
Geth hoppers. No, that doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right, but they. But
I feel like
there's
it is an
subtypes,
S word, but I
Stalkers,
can't-
sappers, and ghosts.
Stalker. Could be a
Stalkers, sappers,
stalker.
and ghosts. Sappers use sabotage to overheat weapons and are dickheads.
Ah, it's those guys that do that to you. Right, okay.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I rarely had time when they're jumping around to notice their name, though. Just fucking stay still, I want to kill you. That was basically what my experience of them was.
So,
I tell you, actually, Leia, you were right as well. There's a subclass which was a sapper, so well done.
so
Points to
powers.
Gryffindor.
So you never used the power wheel.
Never didn't feel the need to. Never needed it.
Yeah, but no challenge required. Oh, things are a bit hairy. I need some help. No, that
Did
was
you
fine.
turn it
Yeah.
on so your squad mates to use their offensive biotic tech powers
Yes.
as well?
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah, they did it all themselves.
So all I can tell you
I
is,
mean,
yeah,
it's probably likely to. If I was going to replay it on a harder difficulty,
Yes, that's what it's about.
Probably, it's going to be needed. But on easy/normal, I don't think you really do.
no, I mean, I use it for Unity to bring AI squad mates back into the fight.
Yeah.
And I'd use it for
If they died.
shield, instant shield boost or regen, which is part of my class that I'd have, so I could do that. And then I did fully maxed out one biotic power in this, which was throw, because it's just basically like a biotic shotgun. So it's really entertaining to just send. So I had Liara and Gareth. So it's basically Liara's using Singularity. So it's just basically making a room full of dudes float into the ceiling and off maps often. So I'd combine that with throw and just send guys into space. So it's quite satisfying when you do that. But yeah, the biotics and tech abilities.
That's such a big force push, isn't it?
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw is just There's also lift. There's loads of powers. And what I would recommend in subsequent playthroughs, experiment with them, because you've definitely played with the most boring class, without a shadow of a doubt. The soldier. It is. It's there. It's the entry level. And there is. I think if I remember rightly, if you do an NG plus, a new game plus, you get unlock. Oh, you can unlock something, can't you?
I'm not certain there is the NG plus option here.
I certainly haven't found it.
In ME1, at least in this version of it, I don't know if they did this before, it just takes you back to your last checkpoint if you try and resume your game.
Yeah, but you need to try and start a new career.
Okay, that I have not tried.
No, me neither, not since beating it anyway, so I need to have a look at that.
Okay.
But
well, I mean, if I bring my character over to 2, or then subsequently 3, do I have an option to change their class?
Yes.
Or am I stuck as a soldier? Oh, thank goodness. Thank God.
Within about 20 minutes, you get a class change option. I'm not going to tell you the context of which, but it happens.
Fair enough.
But I'm not. I know we say no spoiler warning, but sorry, spoilers.
Yeah, don't spoil that. It's super cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on the next episode, no doubt. I'm just trying to think if there's any other big moments that stick out for me in this. I'm trying to think of something. Oh, what do you guys think of the Thorian stuff? I find that one quite interesting on Pharos. Plant creature, giant plant thing. I like all that stuff.
Certainly inventive.
It's different, isn't it? Feels quite. But it's also thematically all connected, isn't it? Because it's all to do with mind control. Obviously, there's like a lot of that going on with the indoctrination and Saren and the Reapers and all
was
that
that
kind of
something? Was that something new that was added to the game then, or was it just as an event?
No, it's not. It's not new. It's just I think it's quite a cool world, and I think to be honest as well. I mean, it hugely benefits from the new textures and the new lighting. That particular location with the falling
definitely.
ash and stuff, it looks incredibly good. I mean, I want to touch a bit on that actually because I'm not sure Leah isn't obsessed with these parts of the game in the same way I am, but oh my god, the texture work, the resolution stuff, the frame rates, everything about they've put so much work. They did something like 30,000 new textures in the first game alone, right? So they basically retextured the entire game with more detailed and there's a great comparison video out there, and I'll link to it in the show notes, by Digital Foundry, and it really shows off like the difference in those character models and environments and stuff. Everything just it almost looks like a new game, like almost like we're getting to that point with this remaster. It's more effort than I've ever seen any other remaster really put into it. Like you really accept perhaps a Halo Combat Evolved, the first anniversary edition of that, which Bungie did, which is an incredible remaster. But this is second to none, like only maybe second to that really. The improvements are insane. It looks incredible.
It felt like an Xbox One game, not an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah.
But in the quality of its graphics, it felt much newer than it actually is. Didn't feel 2007 at all, graphically, in any way.
And I mean, playing it. I've been playing it in two places. I've been playing it on my Series X in performance mode, so it's 60 frames at 1440, and then I've been playing it on the Series X at 4K native, which is really nice, not upscale, 4K native, and also at 60 in quality mode, and that just is stunning. Like, it looks so good on a big 4K TV. It really does look beautiful. I mean, the game was always stunning because it's one of those games like fantastic art design. You talk about people like Bungie again, with Destiny and their art design and how it kind of will always last and always looks amazing because it's got such a great solid look to it. I think this game does the same kind of thing, right? So its ships and the stuff are also well designed. Everything looks great. You can tell the difference between a Turian ship, a Geth ship, a human ship. They've all got kind of like a racial identity thing going on, which really helps them stand out. I really love the art design. The look of the Geth, I think, is fantastic and so cool. And all the races in general. Obviously, the engine is a little bit restricted to the art design, right? So they have problems locomoting anything that's not a bipedal creature, right? So, you have a lot of bipedal humanoids, so Asari and Turians and Batarians and stuff. But at the same time, you do have the Elcor, and you do have the weird-looking little Volus. And let's not forget my favourite, Hanar. I love the floating jellyfish people. I think they're the weirdest, most brilliant alien race. Like, straight out of Star Trek, isn't it? It's like... That's what this feels like. It was
definitely a weird one out there, yes, for sure.
You don't like all those tentacles, Cam? Think about what they could do with that.
I do love the tentacles too, let's be honest. Just in a different context, I'm afraid.
Here we go.
There we go, we're off the deep end now. The only thing I remember my friend telling me about is that the loading time, apparently, of the original game was atrocious.
What with the loading elevators?
Or the lifts.
Yeah.
So neither of you got to enjoy this. Yeah, you've never suffered through 3 minutes loading into the Citadel Tower. Yeah, I mean, you never enjoyed that. I mean, it's next level. Like, it's incredible, and the fact that you'll have some incidental dialogue between your squad mates or a radio broadcast, and halfway through it gives you the option to skip it, and I'm like, so it's already done. Like, that's incredible. What? Like, I like listening to that stuff personally, so I always listen to it, but. The option, and then back in the 360, you'd have that bit of dialogue, and it would stop, and then you'd be waiting another 2 minutes. Like, that's how it was. Yeah, that's how it was. And that little lift in the Normandy, that was a good 60 seconds, as well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a big ship.
No.
Better be for a 60-second lift.
I mean, that took forever as well, and it's like, although all the lifts throughout that game to hide loads into other areas, they're everywhere. If you think about how often you'd find a weird lift that worked on a place like Ferros, and you'd be like, how is this lift working? The place is falling down. Or Novaria, in which that when you get later on in that, and it's all smashed to bits, and it's basically in the side of a falling apart like ice shelf, and it's all the lifts still work. It's like, handy. Yeah. So none of them got blocked. Okay. I
just assumed that was a way of getting you from place to place and keeping it moving,
nope.
rather than it being a way to hide a map.
It was load time. It was all hiding loads, all of them, every single one.
Very clever.
Do we know each other?
I had but no, I want to play. I'm gonna have to move on to 2 now.
Yes,
this is gonna be our next show.
Yes.
But I do want to go back and do some more. Unfortunately, I've shot myself in the foot. Because I took Rob's warning about there's a point of no return, and then you won't be able to do side missions essentially. And I was like, oh crap, okay, so I'll save it here. I'm out of the Citadel. And now I've explored everywhere, and now I have missions that I need to turn in at the Citadel, which I can't go back to because I'm a fugitive.
She'd vouch for me. Look, I need a favor.
Looking at both feet, and they both got bullet holes in them, honestly.
Man's gotta eat, right?
I had one.
I was like, cool, I finally did that mission.
Could you spare something?
Oh no.
Maybe 20 credits.
That'll haunt you, Cam.
That'll haunt you. Yeah, it'll haunt me.
You'll wake
You're
up.
gonna have to start it again.
You wake up.
Oh no, woe is me.
A meal.
Every year I play this. Every year.
Yeah.
I used to have to resort to black magic on the Xbox One to get them to work. Literal black magic. It was you used to have to
We had a lot of problems.
load into Mass Effect 3, come out of it, and then load into Mass Effect 2, and cross your fingers and pray that all the DLC loaded. Otherwise, the save that you had wouldn't work without the DLC loading. It was ridiculous. So this is the joy point of my year. This is amazing.
God,
Yeah,
I didn't
it
know there
was.
was such a faff involved in that.
Yeah, lots of
yeah.
licensing issues with the DLC. Like, it wouldn't recognise them. So you got it all downloaded, but it just wouldn't recognise that you owned it. Even though, how did I download it on my Xbox if I didn't own it? But anyway.
I have one final question for you guys. Love interests.
Oh yes, we do. We should. We haven't talked about love interests.
Yara.
Yeah. I'm blue. I'm blue all the way through, baby.
I'm blue, I believe it. And here's the weird, it's the kooky bit. I was femshep.
Mm.
Well, it doesn't matter to Liara. She's monogendered.
She's a modern
It
alien.
doesn't matter to me. I'm a man. I like seeing ladies on lady action.
This is, saying that, this is one of the I would say Jennifer Hale's femshep performance is fantastic.
Oh my god, yes.
She is incredible. She's, I think, I want to say Mark Moore for male shep, and he's very good. He's very good. I enjoy his gruffness. I think it's Mark Moore. Can somebody fact check it for me? I do want to give him the credit he deserves. But for me, I've gone back and played femshep a few times and stuff. Does the Renegade playthroughs, and I do appreciate how good she is. But this is one of the few times because I really put myself into these games. I really make the choices I would want to make. So it's like, I kind of want to be a dude in this game for that reason. Normally, though, I'm all about playing as the opposite gender in role-playing games, but it's not. I can't do it in Mass Effect. I have to be the dude for my main playthrough. I just can't. I can't do it.
Mark Meer.
Mark Meer. I said Mark Meer. I was close. Mark Meer. But yeah, he's very good too. But what names have we got? I've gone for Simon Shepherd. So Simon Shepherd, SS.
Oh dear.
We all know what I went with.
You went with John. I'm guessing, is that the default? John.
Yeah,
I want to say
the default.
Yeah. John Doe Shepherd. Yeah, good. Cameron.
So I went with Chris Shepherd because that's my missus's name, and I tried to make Shepherd look like my missus for a laugh. And it ended up, like I said to you guys before, she looked like a butch lesbian instead because, well, let's just say the sliders on the creation isn't exactly perfect. So all I'm saying is she looks like a lovely lady with a strong jaw, and a wonderful haircut to match in a hot pink.
This is why I don't get any character creations. I'm quite happy with what they put out in the marketing material, thank you.
And, I'll be honest as well, I'm pretty sure when Christina came in and saw me playing and everything, it's like, look, I made you. I'm pretty sure she was offended.
What about you, Leah?
Like, don't do fucking thing
I
like
am Alina Shepherd. Yeah. I think
Alina.
that's generally a kind of the name I choose. I've got red hair. That's very good. I always go for red-haired. Not the, like, femshep red-haired lady. I make my own, but yeah.
Yeah, Rob. She makes her own. Just.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
If that's the thing you enjoy, fair enough. It's it's however long,
I tell you-
20 minutes or however long of tedium for me.
I tell you
just
what,
don't
you
enjoy.
should look up a comparison of what the default Shepherd, male Shepherd, looked like on the 360 and what he looks like now, because they've kind of brought back the character model from the third game into the first game. It's kind of like he's like the derpy, weird, slightly like off-looking, like younger brother, the original version compared to what you've got now. It's night and day, man. The difference is so much better with what he looks like now. I think if you'd had the option of being default Shepherd as he was, you'd probably have changed him because he looks like a proper idiot.
I've been default charactering my entire gaming lifetime.
God, I could just imagine in like when you play pen and paper D&D, I see generic elf 1 is your name or something.
Wait, how do you play Skyrim? Do you just choose?
What do you
between
do?
the
What do you
races?
do in Skyrim?
Skyrim is different because you
Tyrannic
make your own
Lord,
character. For Skyrim, I tend to go down the route of an elf because I will inevitably do magic because I want the highborn trait that lets me get my magicka back faster.
Well,
so I tend to go high elf and that side of it because I know I'll use magic.
And all the sliders are just halfway. Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest.
Default.
Yeah.
At this point, you tell me if there are sliders. You probably know more than I do.
In Skyrim, no, I can't remember. It's been a while since I rolled a Skyrim character. That's a whole nother podcast series, though. Coming later this year, we'll replay Skyrim. In 2-hour increments and then do a podcast about it.
Suddenly I'm busy for the rest of the year.
Let's not do that. But I think, unless anybody got anything else, we were about the hour mark here. I think this is a good place to wrap up our first dissection here, our first mass reflection.
I want to do a shout out for Matriarch Benezia.
She's got.
Deanna Troy.
Can I just say, Matriarch Benezia?
That surprised me.
Her boobs look like a butt, and that's very distracting to me. I mean, she's got the most ridiculously low cut top, and if you just sort of frame it differently, if you look at it, it looks more like a butt than it does boobs. I'm just saying.
Wow. I
stared at them for quite a while.
If I can lean in about the boobs, I mean, I'd say they are very well animated. Graphically, boobs, they're great boobs. Fantastic.
I just wonder where her nipples are.
Veins and boobs and everything.
The nipples are like
they
somewhere around her feet. Like
from what I could tell of my wonderful love scene with the fantastic Liara,
do they not have nipples?
Them.
They don't have nipples.
It didn't.
Well, I guess
it's hidden by the arm.
No, now you think about it. Now you think about it.
When it's not.
They're monogendered.
Monogendered. Why would they need nipples?
To feed their babies.
Then why would the camera need to obscure them?
Why is there a bottle industry?
How do they feed their babies?
I don't know. They're aliens.
Logical point.
Carol Gay.
She does.
In space.
What? Do you know what would have been cool?
Carol Stargate.
You know, you do the big bonding thing with Liara, and it's like more than just sex. It's like joining of minds. It's like a halfway Vulcan mind meld, halfway hot sex. You know, bit in the middle. And it's like, can you imagine if Liara had showed up in Mass Effect 3 and went, "This is your kid. I'm off." That was it. She just goes. So thanks for that. Right, little shit.
Now.
It's your right dick. Yep. There you go.
It'd be awkward in Mass Effect 2. She comes up to you saying, "You gave me a brain STD."
Oh. That's quite funny. I like the idea of that. Let's get a brain STD. Oh dear. Leah does not look impressed.
I saw her giggle. It counts. I mean, as a newcomer to like the series as a whole, it's started off amazingly.
Yeah,
you know, really impressed, really annoyed that I didn't play this any sooner. Really am. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The ending for after my choice of getting rid of the council, kind of. I looked at that and just went, "That's such a human thing to do." Because I don't know if you actually have seen the ending, Rob, but if you forgo saving the council and you take on Sovereign, basically your ambassador for Earth basically goes, everyone needs a strong leader now, a human leader, and you sort of just go, that's such a human thing to do, dude.
Yeah. Udina, isn't it? Udina.
Yeah.
Udina,
yeah.
What a
Udina.
dick.
Oh god, I relished being able to go, "Yep, Anderson's in charge."
Yes, so did I.
Him.
I love that.
Not only that, because when Anderson helps you escape the Citadel,
It's a subtle plan. Lots of nuance in that plan. Very.
I let him choose. But I cheered a little bit when he decks him in the face.
I like the idea of that. Like he's like, you can see Anderson and Shepard
into the office.
Anderson and Shepard. There's a deleted scene where they're like, hashing out a plan. There's a map, timings, a schedule. They're like, going through all that. And he says, "Yeah, I've got it, Shepard. I've got it. No worries." And Shepard leaves, and he's just like, he just marches into the guy's office, totally the wrong time. Knows he's gonna be there, and just punches him in the face. It's just like, yeah. I've been wanting to do that for quite a while. Captain Anderson there, by the way, voiced by the incredible Keith David. Voice acting extraordinaire. Oh my god, what a performance. And he just, honestly, when you get to the end of 3, I'm choking. I'm choking up a little bit thinking about where that goes.
Even.
But my word, does he just get better and better and better. Also, you might have noticed Admiral Hackett is Lance Hendrickson, which is pretty cool as well. There's some really good voice acting, movie talent in this, really recognizable voices and stuff, and really well performed. Lance Hendrickson from Alien, and Aliens. What's his name? Aliens.
Bishop.
Bishop. Yeah, thank you, Bishop. Yeah. Rob has
I
never seen
recognise his
Aliens, I
voice.
don't think, so that's on his list. I'm going to make him watch that. But no,
It's gonna hide.
incredible performance from him as well, and his role grows considerably in the latter game as well. Yeah, lots of just like you were saying, Cam. What a start, eh? Like, and do you know what? That's not even the best one, mate. Two is arguably everybody's best one. So you've got the best one still to come. So like, it's
Is 2 the best because of the gameplay challenges and structure in 1 that makes it slightly less accessible? If 1 behaved like 2, would we be sat here saying 1 is actually the best?
It's difficult. We don't want to spoil 2. I think we should save a lot of this for the next episode. But I think some of the changes made in the Legendary Edition have now brought 1 closer to 2. But I do think 2 is still pips it the narrative structure of 2 with how you grow your party, with the thrust of that, the whole story is so well done. It's just
the last mission.
Oh, it's pretty impeccable
that
game.
beats it.
Also, it's got probably some of the best DLC to ever be released in there as well, with Lair of the Shadow Broker, which is possibly the best DLC ever made, actually. Honestly, it is an impeccably good game. Really, really good. So you've got that still to come, Cameron. So yeah, get into that in the next week, because this is the end of the first episode of Mass Reflect, a dissection of Mass Effect. We've been talking about the first incredible game in the trilogy, out now in the Legendary Edition. And my word, if you were on the fence, I hope that's helped convince you a little bit to pick this up. But honestly, if you were like Cameron or were like Rob and you've never played Mass Effect 1 before, that experience that it is now is worth the price of admission alone. I think, honestly, if you don't play it like Rob and you really get your money's worth, you will not regret putting it down, even if you've played 2 and 3 already.
Even how I played 1, I don't regret it for a second.
Yeah, like you said, that's really cool actually. That even then. Yeah.
He's such a strong, cohesive story that drives through. I don't regret it for a second. I'm gonna go and do another playthrough.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it's such a good story. It's worth it.
Oh my god. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast special. Please give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you don't have time to watch the video, you can of course listen to the podcast, which can be found anywhere a good podcast can be found. We can be found on Twitter at DIYE for myself, at Holmes Mr. Gibbs for Rob, at Camelot for Cameron, and Leah, do you have a Twitter? Do you want to share a Twitter? You don't have to.
I do not wish to.
Okay. Well, very firm. Very firm. I like it. And collectively, we can be found at Experience Kill. So please keep an eye out. We will be back with an episode in about a week's time. I'm going to aim to hit the same day. So this is out on Tuesday. That might be a bit later, day later, Wednesday or something. And then we'll have another one the following week around that same time period. But yeah, we've set ourselves a challenge. We're playing this in real time. We are going to be bringing them out as quickly as we can for you, but because we have a bit of a time stop because of Cameron, so we are going to make this happen. Damn it, it's happening. Let's go play Mass Effect 2. God damn, I love Mass Effect 2.
I am now going to go and play Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm
great.
to recruit.
Also go and play.
I'd have to go yell at my fiancée to get off the TV so I can go play Mass Effect 2.
See you all in a week. Bye. Bye.
Bye.